Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guy, and today I'm just going to be talking about Canopy Growth's Q4 2019 results and their annual revenue. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell down below, give me thumbs up. I do truly appreciate it. I also want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment and information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything I talk about in this video. Buy or sell after you did your research and your due diligence and you like the investment you're pursuing. So yeah, I'm just at my friend's house. It's a nice setup actually. I just decided to make a video. I've done some camp videos recently if you want to check them out. I don't know how to do the screen. I cut out on the sides unless I change to this iMovie. But yeah, I just had some difficulties making videos on my iPod, but the audio is pretty good on the iPhone. It's just the fact that I don't get the whole screen, but I'm trying to fix that. Anyways, yeah, it's a nice setup. I got a picture in the background, and the lighting's pretty good. It's not like studio setting, but I mean, maybe one day I'll have a couch similar to this and just have a painting in the background, maybe a tiger or something cool. I think that's a nice setup, and just like get the lighting better, get my get what is like a Blue Yeti microphone and something like that. But I mean, I'm not gonna get probably ever like a green screen, but I mean, I could try to do it a little bit better as far as like my setup. But I mean, I'm just in transition because I don't know where my life's heading, but you know, I got my plan. But anyways, let's get into this. So yeah, they achieved $226.3 million for their last quarter. I mean, not last quarter, for the full annual year of 2019. So a majority of those sales were from this quarter that they're reporting on, as well as the previous quarter, because the previous quarter was 84 million, and then this quarter was 94 million, and they did 78.9 million in rec and global medical sales. For they generated 140.5 million in rec sales, I mean, and 79 million in medical sales, which is majority in Canada. But yeah, I mean, last quarter and this quarter adds around 180 million. So for the other quarters was around like 20 million every quarter, I think, if my recollection. And if you do the math, it's similar to that because 84 million plus 94 is somewhere like 178, I think. So yeah, I mean, they didn't do much sales up until these last two quarters for rec. So the rec sales are really adding to their bottom line. But I mean, it's not substantial enough to equivalent that they're worth $20 billion. But the fact they got $4.5 billion in cash from Constellation, that gives them the leverage to for the market to give them that kind of market cap. But anyways, they shipped 24.3 thousand kgs over the year, and that's 16,300 of dry flower and 8,000 kgs of oil and soft gels. So my predictions is in the future it's going to be less on sales of flower and more on oil and soft gels and edibles and vapes. So yeah, it's going to be different in the future. There's still going to be a fair amount of sales for dry flower, but people are going to just want to have vapes such as this. So what this is, I got it at a green market dispensary in Van Island. I'm not going to disclose the place, but anyways, uh, this pen is about 25 bucks, and then the distillate, which is like pure THC distillate, and it's what it is. It's like honey oil, and then they extract it even more into even pure form. And yeah, it's good. And this is something because it's not you're not smoking out of rolling papers. It's better for your lungs, and yeah, I mean it's just easier to go about. I mean, because you gotta think about it. People want to be discreet in their cannabis use because it's not so socially accepted. So if you have a vape pen, people really can't tell the difference whether they're vaping cannabis or nicotine. So it's very discreet in that sense. And you can do it inside a home and inside a hotel, like inside the bathroom at places. I mean, I'm not saying people like should do that because if especially if you're driving and all that stuff, but I'm just saying though people can do that and get away with it. Whereas if you're if you're smoking a joint in a bathroom, it's gonna alert to a lot of people, and people are gonna be like, "What the fuck is this guy smoking cannabis inside the bathroom of our guest room?" So, but you do this or in a hotel and stuff like that, and you can get away with it, right? So that is the reason why vapes are gonna be big, and that's another reason why I'm a pretty decent I have a fair amount of shares in Tilt, but I intend to have even more. Uh, Next week I'm just slowly, because I got the amount of the money that I want to invest, but I'm slowly depleting because I bought a lot of Saniva yesterday at 281, and yeah, so I'm basically just kind of putting aside a certain amount of money into the market every week up until around like mid August, I think, and then I'll have all my money deployed into the market, and then I intend to cash out a lot of it come like end of September, mid October, and then I'm gonna strategically decide how I'm gonna maneuver into the market after that, because there's just strategic things that go along with that. But anyways, let's get more into this. So Canadian harvest, they expect to increase it to 34,000 kgs in the next quarter, with further license capacity to come, and they're expecting increased finished inventory. So what I want to also, because I did the research behind Hexo's financials and Aurora's financials, and I'm on Twitter too, and I have some debates with people. I even got blocked by this one guy who's a super big Aurora investor because he just talking out of his ass about the fact that Hexos cost too much money per gram to grow, and that they didn't produce much, and which is bullshit because they actually produced 9,800 kgs last quarter, and yeah, they didn't sell much. They sold about like 2,700 kgs because it's either going to other provinces or they're going to extract it into um, edibles or infused beverage products, or stuff like that they're working on. So I mean, they're working on oils and stuff like that. So there has to be a reason why they didn't sell all that stuff, but they're working in other provinces, so they need to have that too. And they said they're going to double their revenues this next quarter. But what I'm trying to say is that Hexo only did about they did about 2/3 what what Canopy grew this quarter. So they they grew, think think it was 14,500, and Aurora grew 15.5 thousand kgs. So people say, oh, Canopy has so much more capacity than Aurora and everyone else. But that's not really reality because it's showing in the amount that they're producing. So that's showing that Canopy is losing lots of crops. I do truly believe they're losing lots of crops because they got a 1,000,000 square feet facility in somewhere like Langley or Abbotsford. they have the Metron facility, they have Smith Falls, they have Tweed, they have Bedrocan, all these facilities. I don't know how much it is, but it's a lot of square footage. And you would think that with all the square footage that they should be able to do, because they say they have that capacity for like, I don't know, 600,000 kgs or some crap, that they should be doing like 40, 50,000 kgs already. So it, to me, that really saying that they're losing a lot of crop. I don't work for Canopy and I haven't looked at their things, but being inside my mind to analyze a thing, I have to like, think that. I mean, I'm not trying to bash on Canopy too much because I mean, they're doing good and all that stuff, but for the amount of square footage, I think that they are losing a lot of crops. I'm kind of a Canopy hater because I think the market's kind of a bullshit in a lot of senses because Canopy's lucky they got a deal with Constellation. But I mean, you think about it, okay, like Suniva, I own lots of shares in Suniva, and in other companies that their price to sales is a lot effing lower than what Canopy has it at. So Canopy's price to sales is somewhere, okay, like based on that $200 million, and then their market cap's around 20 billion. That's like 100 price to sales, okay? So then you look at other companies that I'm invested in, and some have a price to sales like, okay, Tilt on an annualized basis is around like 200 million Canadian, and their market cap for the amount of shares that are out is like around 150 million, and like fully diluted somewhere around like 400 million or like 360 or 380. So that's really like a price to sales of 2. Yeah, they're losing money. And even with like MedMen and Suniva, okay, Suniva did 14 million. So on a annualized basis, that's like a 60 million ish. And their market cap, like the shares out, is around like 90 million market cap. So that's like a price to sales of 1.5, and fully diluted, maybe like 50 million shares, 53-ish, I think. That's like it's close to like 150 million, 140 million. So their price to sales is somewhere around 2.5, okay? And then Canopy can have 100 million price to sales, and there's still people that are buying the fuck out of the company. So me as a investor, when I analyze this shit and I'm trying to find undervalued companies and I'm getting screwed because all this money is getting funneled into Canopy, well, I'm not going to be very fucking happy, right? So, um, yeah, I mean, I know they got lots of cash, but that's just my opinion, and I think it's kind of, I think the whole fucking cannabis industry is like, it's uh, it's schizophrenic, and it's full of bullshit. But I mean, it is what it is. They got a lot of cash, but I'm just saying though, there's a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense in the market, and yeah, so I just don't really care for Canopy to have like a 20 billion market cap. Now, with saying that, I have call options in Tilray. Now, do I think Tilray is worth $5 billion? No, I don't think they're worth $5 billion, and that's also USD. But the amount of liquidity that's going into there, it's gonna get Tilray up to $100. I do truly believe that before the end of 2020, like before the beginning of 2020. I mean, you could see 150 Tilray, you could see 200 Tilray. I think if you want the ability to make a lot of money, a Tilray call till like December, January is a good idea. Get like a $65, $75 strike maybe. Because if you like, there's the risk. If it doesn't hit that price, then you're gonna be out. But if Tilray goes to $150, you're getting in cheap right now, as you're getting a call options for that. I mean, I don't like say, oh, get like 20 call options, but if you bought maybe one or two or three or four, you could potentially, like, for example, if Tilray goes to $150, I'm gonna make about $9,000 on my call option. Like, plus the time. So I could make maybe like even 10, $12,000 per call option. And if it hits 150, now if it hits 200, I could make like around like 14, 15, $16,000 per call option, depending how much time's left on the call option. If it hits around 200, that'll be short lived. That'll be short lived. But what I'm saying is, I paid about 170, 180 bucks, and I have the potential to make a ton of money. So why did I do that? Because there's so much liquidity in Tilray and there's a low amount of shares. So I mean, I've lost money with my options trading, but I think that's a really smart trade. Uh, Worst case, you're out like 200, 300 bucks for the call option that you buy. So again, it's not financial advice. It's just my opinion on what is a potential where you could make a lot of money with Tilray without having to pay. Like if you bought 100 shares of Tilray today, you'd be paying like $5,000 US. That's like close to $7,000 Canadian. I mean, that's a fucking shit ton of money, right? And so yeah, if it goes to 100 bucks, you're gonna double your money, but you're putting out a lot of fucking capital to play. I'm kind of on a swearing rant. I apologize, but I don't know. I guess when I was out in the woods for a day or so, it kind of affected me. Bruce Linton, and yeah, I mean it kind of pisses me off too because Bruce Linton, he's able to sell a ton of shares. Cam Badley's able to sell a ton of shares, but then when all these smaller companies do anything, it gets like so hyper elevated about them doing something wrong, and that's just not fair, because they have the media on their side, and I don't think that's fair. I think it's a fucking monopoly, and yeah, I mean that's just my opinion. Do I think cannabis is going to go to 100 bucks? Yeah. Do I think it could potentially hit $500 within a few years? 5, 10 years? Yeah, I do think so, probably. Maybe they're going to do a forward split that like companies such as Microsoft and other big companies do. So yeah. Okay, so 94 million, as I said, 9,326 kilograms were sold. Okay, that is less sold than how much Hexo grew, and Hexo is trading for about $2 billion, two to $3 billion. Now, uh, I own Hexo warrants based off of HIP getting bought, but so yeah, I'm bullish on Hexo. Straight up, I'm bullish on Hexo. I want Hexo to go to 25, 30, $40 Canadian. I'll be happy. I think it's possible. $25 before the end of 2019 or early 2020. I think it's possible because they are going to be a big competition for Canopy Growth with their infused beverages with Coors. So, and a lot of people don't really understand that HIP actually has a pretty good product line. I mean, they have some nice edible company that they work with called Neil Brothers. And I mean, they're gonna make edibles out of that stuff, and people will buy that. I mean, make it out of CBD. If you get like 100 milligram CBD chips, I think they would sell very fast. Yeah. So average selling price per gram for rec market 728. For the medical 817. Now international is very much higher, 1391. So this is like when I'm looking at this, this is just a no-brainer to me. The international sales is where the money's going to be. Europe in the first couple of years. I mean, that's the reality of things. The amount of money, I mean, that's why I still own shares. Like I've gotten killed on Wayland, but I think with this world merger thingy, I think Wayland, if they're growing a ton right now and they're going to be able to export it to Germany, they're going to make a ton of money. because some of that they can do just like sale to sale. Well, it'll be through World that will be doing the getting the distribution money. But regardless, like with Canon Medical, I'm sure they're making a lot of money uh, when they're selling it. So inventory and biological assets, 341 million kilograms harvested, as I said, 14,469 kgs, cash and equivalents, and marketable securities, 4.515 billion. That's up from 323 million a year ago, which is pretty substantial, not gonna lie. Ah, okay. Canadian recreational gross revenue business to business, 57.2 million. Rec gross revenue business to consumer, 11.7. I don't really understand that entirely. I mean, I know they got their Tweed stores, so I mean, unless I was able to ask that question on the conference call or somebody can leave it down in the comments, I'm honestly don't understand that. So their subtotal is 68.9 million. Business to business. Medical gross revenue. 11.6 million. International, only 1.8 million. Yeah, only. You know, I think for a company that's doing $20 billion market cap, that they should be able to sell more to the international medical market. I think Aurora did 4 million last quarter, which is decent. But, you know, this company, they should be a lot above that. I don't know the problems on their international, but the amount of employees that they have within the company and you know the amount of money that they could be spending on getting their global to be really increasing their revenues isn't that it's really dull. Medical revenue subtotal 13.4, other revenues 24.2. Okay, so I didn't understand this and I asked on Twitter. Nobody could answer that question, but what it is other revenue is they have stores in Bickle, so that's a vape company. So that revenue is pretty good. You know, that's like amount like close to what, not close, but it's like about half of what Cushco does per quarter. So I mean that's good to their bottom line. Product sales. So they say they've launched 23 cannabis retail stores in Newfoundland and Labrador, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Ontario under the Tweed and Tokyo Smoke banners. So yeah, I mean that's cool. Cannabis retail. I think that with the Tokyo Smoke, I think those stores are just for vapes and kind of accessories. You know, things where you can buy like rolling. I don't know. Just there's like these rolling things that you can just roll on. I don't know what they're called, but you just roll your joints on and they'll help you kind of roll it on. And there's other kind of tools to help you roll, and I'm sure they got some clothes and just different types of accessories. It's probably similar to what Canna Cabana has with High Tide, but High Tide's mostly vaporizers, I think. But I mean, it's the same kind of setup, you know, accessories, picks and shovels in the cannabis industry. So they did 10.1 million in 2019, 173 driven by German market growth as well as Polish and Czech markets. So they're saying that they're impacted by supply challenges from Canada because focused on Canadian patients first and the lengthy export process. So yeah, I guess there's problems with the lengthy export process and that cuts into their profits because you know regulations they cut into profits. That's just the reality businesses. There's reasons why some companies don't come to Canada for business because there's too much regulations, right? I mean, this oil pipeline just got approved, but I mean, it took forever. And the amount of strikes and all this bullshit that the companies have to pay. So I mean, I think it's not the same idea, but it's a similar context. You got these regulatory bodies. If they want to have more cannabis growth and sales for exporting, help Canada's like GDP, that needs to be improved by making it easier for these companies to export to countries across the world. That's I mean, I'm sure they're not doing their best. They're admitting it that they've been focusing on the patients of Canada, but at the same token, you have to realize that the regulatory bodies do affect these companies. Bottom line, straight up. So they did 34 million. That was resulting in revenue generated in 2019 by Stores and Pickles. So yeah, they anticipate to integrate it within their ecosystem. And I guess my take would be it would be maybe they don't have that in like Tokyo Smoke stores or their Tweed stores or on a very low uh, like supply. But if they bump that up, then instead of doing like 34 million, then say maybe in 2020 or 2021, maybe they're doing like 75, 200 million, maybe by 2021, I would say, or just within the ecosystem of the globe, right? I mean, just different stores, maybe they have them across in different countries in the future as legalization happens. So inventory production cost was 175 million. So that's uh yeah, I mean there's I did the math earlier on somewhere within here and basically they're doing about like 550 per gram. They really need to improve their price for their cost per gram if they want to stay profitable like in the future, or they just need to make a shit ton of like value added products like more CPG products, edibles, infused beverages and all that stuff, and they have to chintz the fuck out of consumers who won't be happy. But that's basically their business. If they can do like chips, like so you get a bag of Doritos or just a cookie, like a cookie the size of here, and it's got 10 milligrams of CBD, and it costs you like $7, and it only costs them maybe like 50 cents or 25 cents or whatever to make each one. Well, the ability to make insane profit on that is going to be through the roof, right? So I think that's like their mentality because they can't grow on a really cheap scale. I mean, maybe they need to build outdoor grows or something because their indoor grows like cost way too effing much money to yeah. Yeah, share-based compensation was 182.8 million. It's good. That's good for these guys. Get their insiders mega rich. I mean, they've made their shareholders fucking rich as well throughout the last 3 years. But I mean, they're effing greedy themselves. Like, don't kid yourself. Uh, but they got Jim Cramer and all these other people as Constellation brands in their back pocket. So he who has the cash makes the rules. And yeah, you can take that however way you want to say it. Briefcases, whatever kind of scenario. uh, I'm not saying that's the truth, but yeah, you never know. Uh, so they're talking about that acreage, and yeah, there's some deal with there's like some type of call option, 263 call option for all the acreage shareholders up to June 26th. So here, if you want to go to on New Cannabis Ventures right here, and you can listen to the webcast right here, or you can call in a replay 1-855-859-2056 and a password 4338214. I did listen to it. I didn't record it, but yeah, I mean, if you want to hear from the horse's mouth, that's how you can do it. Or you can get onto New Cannabis Ventures. I'm not going to leave this link, but you can do this through New Cannabis Ventures. You just go to the news part and scroll down and find Canopy quarterly financials, and then go to the bottom and link on here, and you can listen to it. So yeah, and it's accessible till September 21st. All right. So anyways, I hope you like this video. Give me thumbs up. Yeah, if you stayed till the end, I congratulate you for taking the time out of your day to listen to me. I hope you learned a little bit about my thoughts and my analysis on Canopy Growth and their financial statement, and you kind of get a sense of kind of where the direction where the company's going. Again, this is my opinion only. It's not it's my opinion. So anyways, until next time, peace.